So we're going to rank the 38 beverages that have been declared official state beverages by states of the United States. Not all states have official beverages. I'm sorry if your state isn't mentioned. And some states have more than one beverage, like they'll have both a state beverage and also a state cocktail or something. We'll get to it. I'm basing my tier list mostly of how good of a fit I think the official drink is for that state, how original or interesting the drink is, and to some degree just how much I like the drink. Alabama has chosen Conucka Ridge Whiskey, a specific brand of Alabama-style whiskey. It started out originally as a illegal moonshine whiskey, and its aged with dried apples to give it a distinct character. Well, this is where it gets weird. In 2004, just after the whiskey was declared the official beverage of Alabama, Conucka Ridge Whiskey was banned from Alabama. Conucka Ridge Whiskey had its state license revoked because of liquor law violations by its founder, Kenny May, including selling liquor without a license, possessing excessive quantities of liquor in a dry county, and selling alcohol to a minor. It was banned for 15 months. Alabama came close to repealing the whiskey as its state beverage, and it did come close, but it failed. After 15 months, the state decided to restore the company's license after the founder, Kenny May, left the business and moved to another state. I'm going to be honest, having to ban your state drink isn't great, and naming a super specific brand of whiskey as your state beverage is just kind of weird in the first place. I'm going to put Conucka Ridge Whiskey in D tier, not F tier, because at least it started in Alabama as illegal moonshine, and it stayed true to its roots of illegality for a long time. Arizona's state beverage is lemonade because they grow a lot of citrus fruit there. Arizonan school children are often taught about the 5 C's of Arizona: copper, cattle, cotton, climate, and citrus. I think lemonade is a good choice, especially for a state that's so hot. I couldn't think of a much better drink for Arizona. Maybe like the Arizona tea brand. No, that's dumb. I think I'll put Arizona lemonade in S tier. Screw it. Arkansas. Arkansas's state beverage is milk. Well, we begin with the milk. This is kind of a spoiler. You can probably see on the bottom of the screen. But a lot of states have milk as their state beverage, including states that I don't think milk is a very good choice for, including Arkansas. There are 13 states that produced more milk than Arkansas in 2023. And look, I believe that your state beverage should be something unique to your state, or something that's notably important to your state, or regionally popular in your state, or something. Oh, Arkansas produces some milk. So does every other state. Arkansas milk goes straight into F tier. If you think I'm being harsh, just wait until we get through all of this milk. Delaware's state beverage is milk. Screw you, Delaware. You don't produce that much milk. Florida's state drink is orange juice. I guess that makes sense. What else would the state beverage be? Oranges are on the Florida license plates, for crying out loud. I never thought I'd say this, but good job, Florida. Way to choose a good drink. And we're just going to ignore the fact that California produces more oranges. Florida orange juice gets S tier. Why not? Hawaii's state beverage is kind of weird. It's kava or ava, which is made from the kava plant. Kava is a depressive drug. It's notable for its sedative and euphoric properties. There's some evidence that it moderately reduces anxiety, and some people take kava to help them sleep. As with any drug, there are some adverse effects. Notably, excessive consumption of low-quality kava products is associated with liver damage. But generally, it's low risk. It's probably safer than alcohol, and it's not considered addictive. As for the taste, the name kava literally means bitter. A lot of sources I read describe it as earthy. It doesn't sound like it tastes very good, to be honest. Kava has been used in Polynesia, including Hawaii, for a long time, so it makes sense historically. I do think it's bold to make your state beverage a drug other than alcohol, but I also kind of respect it. Overall, considering that kava is historically important in Hawaii and just it being an interesting choice, I'll put it in B tier. It gets demoted a little bit because it sounds like it doesn't taste that good. Indiana's state drink is water, which is kind of hilarious. Indiana looked at all the bland states choosing milk as their state beverage and thought, not boring enough. I looked at the resolution that recognized water as the state beverage, and they had justifications in it, like, whereas the quality of water we consume should be of the utmost importance to every Hoosier, therefore water is the state beverage. A quick search online, however, leads me to believe that the water quality in Indiana isn't even particularly good, like it's not the best in the country or anything. I think water is a very strange choice, but also, I kind of respect it. C tier. At least it's not milk tier. Kentucky's state beverage is milk, not, I don't know, bourbon, which Kentucky produces millions of barrels of every year. F tier. Screw you, Kentucky. Louisiana's state beverage is milk. According to this chart from the USDA, Louisiana ranked 41st in milk production in 2023. And this is the drink that you think best represents your state? F tier, Louisiana. Maine's state beverage is Moxie. What the heck is Moxie? Okay, Moxie is one of the first sodas ever invented in 1876, flavored with gentian root extract. Wikipedia describes the taste as sweet, similar to root beer, but with a bitter aftertaste. From what I can tell online, the drink is somewhat divisive. People either love it or hate it, it seems. The soda is also where the word Moxie comes from, as in, I like your Moxie, kid. Anyways, Moxie is popular in New England, including Maine, so that's probably why Maine chose it. Hey, sometimes I like a little controversy, and not everybody has to like your drink. I think I'll put Moxie in B tier. There we go. Maryland's state drink is milk, despite not being a top milk producer. Why, Maryland? Why? F tier. Rye whiskey is Maryland's official state liquor, on the other hand. Rye whiskey is similar to bourbon whiskey, which is made of corn, but rye whiskey must instead be made with at least 51% rye. Rye whiskey was historically very prevalent in states like Maryland, although production of rye whiskey steeply declined during Prohibition, and the industry in Maryland has never really fully recovered, but it has made a somewhat of a comeback in more recent years. Hey, I like kind of an underdog story, so I'll put Maryland rye whiskey in B tier. Massachusetts chose cranberry juice as its state beverage. Massachusetts produces a lot of cranberries, not as many as Wisconsin, but still enough to make Massachusetts number 2. I guess it's a good choice, and I have no problems with cranberry juice, so I guess I'll put Massachusetts in A tier. Why not? Minnesota's state drink is milk, but unlike all the other previous states, Minnesota actually produces a decent amount of milk, 10,500 million pounds in 2023. It still ranks 7th among U.S. states, so not that great. I'll still put it in D tier on account of Minnesota actually producing a decent amount of milk. But there's probably better choices that Minnesota could have gone with. Mississippi's state drink is milk, F tier. Nebraska's state drink is milk, F tier. Nebraska's state soft drink is Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was invented in Hastings, Nebraska, and I mean, I like Kool-Aid. However, does Kool-Aid really say Nebraska outside of being invented there? I don't know. I'll say C tier for Kool-Aid. New Hampshire's state drink is apple cider. New Hampshire does give off apple cider vibes to me, even if other states like New York and Washington produce more apples. But look, no other state chose apple cider as their state beverage. I think I'll put New Hampshire apple cider in A tier. Why not? New Jersey's state drink, like Massachusetts, is cranberry juice. New Jersey does produce a decent amount of cranberries, but less than Wisconsin and Massachusetts. I also want to just mention that Massachusetts chose cranberry juice in 1970, but New Jersey chose cranberry juice in 2023. New Jersey had 53 years to think of something more, original, but whatever. I think I'll put New Jersey cranberry juice in B tier, 1 tier below Massachusetts. New York's state drink is milk. New York ranks 4th in milk production in 2023, so decent. Although, if they really wanted to involve milk, New York could have chosen egg cream, which is milk, seltzer, and chocolate syrup, and it's very popular in New York City and was even invented there. But we don't live in a perfect world, so New York milk gets D tier. North Carolina's state beverage is milk, not Cheerwine or Pepsi, which were both invented in North Carolina. Milk, that's what you're going with? All right, North Carolina. I hope you're happy with F tier. North Dakota's state drink is milk, F tier. Ohio's state drink is tomato juice. Ohio does grow a lot of tomatoes, so I guess it's appropriate. The only problem is that I think tomato juice is a little gross. I think I put tomato juice in C tier. At least it's not milk. Oklahoma's state beverage is milk, F tier. Oregon's state beverage is milk, F tier. Pennsylvania's state beverage is milk. Pennsylvania is 8th in milk production. At least it's not a state that is close to last in milk production, but still claims milk as their state beverage. Louisiana. So I'm feeling very nice. I'll put Pennsylvania in D tier. Rhode Island's state drink is coffee milk. You might think that's a bad sign because it has milk in it, but just wait. Coffee milk is milk that has been flavored with coffee syrup, which is similar to chocolate syrup, but coffee flavored. The vibe I get online is that most people actually seem to like it. I think it's also a good choice for Rhode Island. In the late 1800s, many of the first coffee syrup brands were sold in Rhode Island, and coffee milk is still regionally popular in New England. I read that many school children in Rhode Island can even buy coffee milk in their school cafeteria, although I think that's actually becoming less and less common these days. But anyways, call me crazy. Call me crazy, but I think I can justify putting coffee milk in A tier. South Carolina's state beverage is milk. Boo. In 1995, however, South Carolina also chose a state hospitality beverage, South Carolina grown tea. Oh, thank you, South Carolina. What? South Carolina is the only southern state that picked tea as its state beverage, the quintessential southern drink? Wait, we're talking about iced sweet tea, right? Not hot tea? The state drink is just called tea on most sources. I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm going to put South Carolinian iced tea in S tier. Screw it. It's like the South's drink. And it's the only state that has tea as their state beverage, so there you go. South Dakota, milk, F tier. Tennessee, milk, F tier. Vermont, milk, F tier. Virginia, milk, F tier. However, Virginia has chosen George Washington's rye whiskey as its state spirit, which is rye whiskey distilled specifically at George Washington's reconstructed distillery at Mount Vernon, and is produced using 18th century methods, and is produced only in very limited quantities. Like, you can literally only buy it in person at Mount Vernon. This is very, very specific. I'm somewhat tempted to demote a beverage that is so hard to get. But at the same time, it does make it exclusive to Virginia, which has to count for something. I guess I'll put George Washington's rye whiskey in C tier. Washington's state drink is coffee, not because they grow a lot of coffee in Washington, but because of Washington's strong coffee roasting and strong coffee culture. One source I read claimed that in 2016 in Seattle, there were 843 coffee shops per capita, which means that there was an astonishing 636 million coffee shops in Seattle. Pretty impressive. I think maybe that statistic was a little off, to be honest. Regardless, I'm going to put Washington coffee in A tier. Wisconsin's state beverage is milk. But you know what? Wisconsin is famous for its dairy. It has America's Dairyland on its license plate, and it produces the second most amount of milk in the United States, behind California. So I'll give Wisconsin somewhat of a pass on this one. Not that big of a pass. Wisconsin was like the 14th state to name milk as its state beverage. Like, Wisconsin knew it wasn't being original. I think I'll put Wisconsin milk in C tier. There we go. Wisconsin's state cocktail is the Brandy Old Fashioned, which is popular in Wisconsin. Brandy Old Fashioned is a cocktail made by muddling sugar, bitters, and water and combining it with brandy, usually with an orange peel or cherry as a garnish. The journal Drinks International did a survey of 100 bars earlier this year in 2024 and found that the Old Fashioned was the second most popular drink sold internationally. Pretty impressive to have a drink that's very popular, but still associated with your state. I think I'll put the Brandy Old Fashioned in A tier. And last but not least, and also not a state, but we're still going to include it, Washington, D.C. chose Ricky as their state beverage, which is a cocktail made from gin or bourbon, lime juice, and carbonated water. It was created in Washington, D.C. in the late 1800s, and I think it was more popular, honestly, in like the 1920s. Like, Ricky is mentioned in The Great Gatsby. I think I'm going to put Ricky in C tier. There we go. What can we learn from this? Well, I've learned that states really should stop choosing milk as their state beverage. That's mostly what I've learned. It's probably because of money from the dairy lobby, by the way, in most of these cases. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to try to post videos every week on Friday from now on. We'll see how that goes.